Welcome once again to Minutes with Mick. We're going to try something a little different, something new today. We've got Amy here. We are currently in the Chinese New Year's Festival, the biggest festival of the year for China. So we brought Amy in to kind of ask a few questions about Chinese New Year, what it means to the Chinese people, exactly what they do, and kind of give everybody a better understanding. First of all, just to kind of give a little bit of a fireworks history here. During Chinese New Year's, which is one of the longest festivals of the year, the fireworks production obviously does shut down. The customs and the government closes down. So there's many things that affects the fireworks industry and all industries for that fact because of Chinese New Year. So we get a lot of questions about it, and we thought it'd be just kind of unique to talk to somebody who's experienced it firsthand and kind of answer a few questions. So I'm going to ask Amy just a couple questions, and if you guys see something and want any more information or have any more questions, drop us an email or any kind of response to the website, and we'll get Amy to answer those for us also. So first of all, Chinese New Year. Happy New Year, I guess we should say first.
Happy New Year to you guys too.
We've talked quite a bit about this on our websites and in our shoot-offs in the last few years, but we've never had the Chinese perspective of Chinese New Year. So my first question is can you tell us a little bit about Chinese New Year and what you normally do over Chinese New Year? Now, given you're in the States this year, so a little different for you, I'm sure, but in your normal Chinese New Year at home, what would you do?
Well, this year is my first time, I would spend my New Year here. So I did call my family and ask them what they did. They definitely shoot some fireworks and provided by Jake's Fireworks. And my dad was so happy to see, huge, the celebration of fireworks. And also, Chinese New Year for us, it's like a gathering, like it's a family reunion. People work in different areas or like really far away from home. They come home during this time to celebrate Chinese New Year with their families. And we also, we shop a lot during this time. And for those families that with really good income, they get to go travel a lot of places. So that's about it.
Now, and this is my understanding, so I need clarification on this, but it's very similar to our Christmas in that you give gifts, but you only give gifts to children, correct? How does it work? You give envelopes, right? You give money.
Yes. It's actually called red envelope. You put money in a red envelope. It's like, well, different areas has different customs. Like for the area that I'm from, people tend to give red envelopes to those that are not married. But for some other areas, they may give red envelopes to those who are not who doesn't have a job. Even though if you're married, but if you don't have a job, they still give you red envelopes. Yeah, but you can also like buy a lot of other things to give it to your friends or relatives instead of giving them red envelopes.
It's a neat deal. Now, if I understand it, like you said, a family reunion, like a married couple, like for us, okay, for Christmas, we may have Christmas Eve with my parents and my family and Christmas Day with my wife's parents and her family. Is it the same for Chinese New Year for you guys? Do the families all come together? Or do you go to, like, if you were married, do you go to your husband's family one day, your wife's family a different? How does it work? Or is it one big family?
Normally, like the Chinese New Year spans from the 1st of January, in Chinese calendar, to the 10th of January. So during this period of time, the first day you normally spend spend the time with your parents. Like normally it's the male's parents.
Right.
And then the second day, you may need to go to the girl's side.
And her family.
Yeah, spend time with her family, and then you have to do these two things first, and then you get to travel or do whatever you want.
Well, and that's one thing. I know a lot of the people in the fireworks industry, they have their Chinese celebration that they visit with their friends and their family, and they have big meals and shoot fireworks
Yes.
and that. But then afterwards, they do a lot of traveling throughout the country and a lot of traveling internationally, too.
Yes.
Which I know makes for a mess when 1.3 billion people or whatever it is decide they need to go home. You know, China just built these new bullet trains that are absolutely amazing, and it's becoming the quickest and probably the cheapest form of travel because airfare is very expensive, and as you all know, I mean, China has the same type of security in their airports that we do. I mean, it's time consuming and it's a little restrictive, especially with, you know, traveling with kids or large families and whatnot, and the entire country basically moves during this point in time. There's not very many people that aren't traveling by either bus or train or airplane or somehow everybody's going somewhere. So it also brings the costs and the expenses up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as far as like the meals, well, you have like for Christmas for us, we always have a big meal, you know, like Thanksgiving, turkey and all the fixings and everything. Same thing for you guys?
No, we have totally different food. Well, you gotta have meat, and then you gotta have fish. That's two things that you'll see, you know, during Chinese New Year. Well, they are like the reason that we have fish. It's because fish in Chinese, the pronunciation of fish, it's like sounds like extras or leftovers from the previous, you know, meal or something. That means that when you have fish, then you will have some, you know, extra money or, you know, fortune for the next year. So that's something that we, you know,
You believe in?
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. You know, I always thought I had an understanding of Chinese New Year, and then the more I visited with people and the more I kind of sat down and had it explained to me, that there's so many facets to it and so many different angles to it, but the most important thing, near as I can tell, is rest. Everybody likes to eat and then they like to relax. You know, I think it's a good time, probably real similar to our Christmas holiday for a lot of people. So if you have any questions or you'd like to know anything more about Chinese New Year, let us know. We just kind of thought this would be unique and something fun to kind of give a little bit more education on. One other thing that I'd like to just talk about is we get a lot of questions on how long does Chinese New Year last, which is kind of a multifaceted answer here. You know, the government is closed for a certain period of time. The factory managers will come back at a different time. The technicians will come back at a different time, and then the workers will come back at a different time. So, you know, it can be anywhere from a week to a month, depending on who you are and what kind of vacation holiday you get. Probably very similar to here, like where a lot of companies will shut down between Christmas and New Year's to do their maintenance and their rebuilds. Very similar, but it's Chinese New Year this year. Chinese New Year's Eve was February 2nd for us, which the Chinese calendar and the U.S. calendar, you know, obviously kind of conflict a little bit there, but the equivalent of New Year's Day, with their January 1st, was February 3rd for us this year. So, you know, here we are a week or so later, and things are starting to come back in line here in the next few days, and then over the next week and a half, more and more people start coming back to work. So hopefully we'll start moving back into the production and start getting more and more products shipped. So once again, we appreciate the time. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to know from us, give us a call. And Amy, thanks for all the insight.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.